Welcome to what are this? Agent Tactics. This is like number 6 or 7 now. I have a really great guest, Thomas, out of St. Augustine, Florida. Eileen and I have been traveling around looking at maybe making a move to Florida, and we came out and hung out with Senor Thomas and his beautiful wife not too long ago, and it was fantastic. I really loved um, St. Augustine, seeing the area. Who knows? Maybe you'll see my home on the beach there one day, but not right now. Thomas has a YouTube channel out of St. Augustine. He's got a little over 2,100 subscribers. And it's not always the subscribers and the view counts that are most important. It is always what drives business to your bank account. I can't tell you how many times I see people go, Jeremy, I can't do it. You have 16,000 subscribers on YouTube. I could never grow a channel that much. I keep telling people you don't need 16,000 subscribers to get business out of YouTube. Thomas has been doing it with 2,100 subscribers, and he's close to a guy in Orlando that's got like 35,000 subscribers. But Thomas is getting business religiously from the channel. Thomas, welcome, man.
Yeah. Hey, Jeremy, thank you for having me, man. Also for your mentorship amongst YouTube and all things around there, and also with helping me out with Reel for sure. But yeah, YouTube, it's one of those things where you think you need all the views and all the subscribers and all that kind of things. But I think my first deal came at like 23 subscribers. Now, is that an anomaly? I think so. I think it just happened to be like right situation, right time for the person reaching out to me. But 23 subscribers, you saw the video I put up, and the video sucked. It was awful. It was not good by any means of what I put out today. But yeah, so I got my first deal. He bought a condo, and it was because typically, when we come across objections, right, is they almost second guess you and what you're saying. But because he had already watched like the video, he called me about a video I put on, and this was like 2021 about foreclosures. And of course, because of COVID and all that kind of stuff, there were no foreclosures at all. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm looking for my parents, and I want them to get a foreclosure." I'm like, "Well, I mean, it's going to be several years. It's just what it is." And he had already watched that video, so then he was just like, "Okay," and then he bought a condo. Like it was very simple, and I think that's the biggest benefit of YouTube is that like I don't need to repeat myself to people. They've already done the research. They're watching me. They already trust, know, and like me, which is the biggest hump that most of us realtors have to get over with our clients.
Yeah, man, I love that. Real quick in the comment section, if you're struggling with YouTube or you're wanting to go with YouTube, drop a comment. What are the things you're struggling with, or what do you think the roadblocks for you are? I want to hear from you because, I think this is the one thing we want to answer is like, YouTube's not for everybody. Instagram's not for everybody. Real Broker's not for everybody. But when you dive into a lead source like this, 23 subscribers can result to how big of a paycheck was that when you closed that deal?
So I think that was like a $220,000 sale. So it wasn't that much, but I mean, like, hey, that's 8 grand, and the amount of money that I put into the video and the time, well worth it.
Yeah.
So
And here's the craziest part is people ask me now, like, how do you keep doing the videos? How are you so consistent? That $8,000 you just spoke about for virtually came off of one video, right? I've done the
yeah,
math, and for every time I don't put out a video, it easily costs me close to $30,000. That's a cost because I did not put out a video. So when you get to a time in your life when you're realizing that every time you don't put out a video actually costs you money, right? Everybody thinks about, oh, this video cost me $1,000 to put out. If that video cost you 1,000 to put out, 8,000, that's a $7,000 return of $1,000. So you 7x your $1,000, and that's just off one person, off one video. So, okay, so let's talk about this real quick. As far as comments keep coming in, we're going to get to them in a second. Thank you. Keep them coming in. So the next question I have is, how big is YouTube in your business right now? Obviously, you're doing however many videos a month or week or whatever. How much of your business comes directly from YouTube now?
man, in a way, I'm almost a little embarrassed to say, but like I want to say it's probably somewhere in like the 60 to 70% of range of my business, probably towards the higher end of 70%. And a lot of people think also with YouTube you're gonna just get primarily buyers, but like I'm also getting sellers from it too, which is pretty amazing. And I think this year, I mean, it's all like last year, this is how I felt. I was like, man, really things are starting to pump up really crazy and this is amazing. And I'm doing a whole bunch of business. And now this year, I'm feeling like, oh my God, like I'm doing so much more business. This is amazing. And it's pretty much a direct result from YouTube. And then, of course, you take care of the people that you work with. My YouTube clients, I'm sure, Jeremy, you probably feel the same way about this compared to any other client that I've worked with from any other lead source. They're by far my favorite. And that's because they've already developed a relationship with you online. They know you from your videos. And they're just really easy to work with and they get you. So they almost become, very friendly with you. And in a lot of situations, they do become your friends. So they also become a great referral source as well. And when you have, especially like you have a friend, you have someone moving down, right? And they're like, oh, you know what? My dad's moving down too. Like today I'm actually showing two separate people and their family, like it's a father son, they're moving to the area. So and then they're gonna have another sister move to the area, so it's like it all just keeps snowballing on each other. And even with the clients that I've met that are just outside of YouTube, like, hey, I'm looking at this one community. Oh, cool, I have this video. Here, I'll send it to you. Check it out. Let me know what you think of it. So before they even get into that community and take a look, I'm able to provide value and give them something. Like, hey, I've already done the homework on this. Here's what it looks like. This is what it is. So, so yeah, I'd say about 70% of my business, 60 to 70% of my business, and then referrals coming from that as well too. So pretty
That's
amazing.
wild. That's
Yeah,
wild.
and,
I I
and
had a lady call me not yesterday, but what is today? Thursday. She called me Wednesday and she came in and she's like, yeah, I have a property. Um, this lady is so connected. She like rattled off at least 9 big time producing agents that she's friends with, like agents I know in my market very well. Anyway, so I go over and I meet with her yesterday. She goes, yeah, I have this condo to sell. It was a nice little condo, about a $450,000 condo here in Austin. I'm like, okay, this is great. She's like, but I have this house on Portia Lane. Can you come over real quick and let me see this one and show this to you? Okay. Oh, by the way, and we get there, the 2 houses we just passed over here, I own those too. So I want to sell that condo with you. Then I'm still getting this house ready. I'm going to sell this. My sister has one listed at 2.9. The agent hasn't gotten it sold yet. I'm going to tell her to fire her agent and hire you. And then, by the way, my parents need to sell $1 million house out in Dripping Springs next to you. And oh, by the way, I'm going to sell those 2 other houses. It turned from one conversation from YouTube, and all she could talk about the entire time was you talked about the reason why I'm calling you is you talked about a specific area and you know what you're talking about because you nailed all the things about that specific area. So I know you're the person to sell that one. And if you're the person to sell that one, you can sell all these other homes.
yeah,
So
100%. And I think also like, and that's something that I put on the slide deck there, but like from me being a YouTube realtor, and going to these communities and learning about them, like in order to get comfortable, and I saw someone said like, imposter syndrome and getting comfortable like with being on video. In order to do that, the best way to get around that is just know what you're talking about. So like I go into the communities and I find out all the information, right? So we have a lot of new construction here. I'm talking about like the developments in the area, like, oh, hey, they're building this school, it'll open up in 2025. I'm talking about how many like acres the actual property is, with how much is conserved for the houses, how much is for preservation and recreation area. Like I'm going in on all these videos so that I do look like I know what I'm talking about. And just by doing that, I now just like know random facts that most 99% of realtors don't know. I know that. Well, we know most realtors aren't that great,
So
but
that actually, I want to get in. I'm going to show your channel here in a second, but that gets to a really really good question that most people have, right? So Megan said imposter syndrome. Chad said tech. Getting the video seen by potential clients. We'll go over that in a second. Doug says last year 20% of this year, so far 25%. And then Mike says, are you doing a video a week? Okay, so keep the comments coming in there as well. But the question I have for you, and this is I think where agents overthink it, right? And that's the imposter syndrome question there. When you're creating content, if I don't know something, I'm not going to create content on something I don't know. So when it comes to that, how are you educating yourself? What's the process look like to come up with a content piece like that where you're not necessarily having imposter syndrome?
So essentially, for me, and everyone's business is different, but for me, like the MREA book, right, the big red book that we all know about. like they say, like you should be prospecting between 9 and 12 o'clock. Like essentially, my prospecting has turned into like research for videos and shooting videos. Like that's pretty much how I've switched up on things. So I probably plan, I whip out my iPad, my notes app, and I plan a video how I think I want it to go, and then I get the information for that video. And that probably takes me a good hour to 2 hours. If I'm going to new construction, I already have it set in my mind exactly what I'm going to talk about. And really, that's just a quick conversation with the sales rep and just going over certain things like pricing, what's the HOA, CDD information, all that kind of stuff. So the research is probably the biggest pain in the ass. Once you get over the hump of like the confidence on video, the research for the videos to make sure you're putting out something that's entertaining and educational is the next step. And that's honestly like probably takes me longer to do that than it does to actually shoot the video, which at one point was vice versa. At one point it would take me 2 hours. I'd have to switch the battery out 2 times in the camera to shoot one 15-minute, 20-minute video because I'd stop and I'd mess up and I mess up and I just get all hung up. Oh, I need to say it this way. I need to say it that way. And I think the biggest thing is like once you get comfortable doing it, people like that authenticity too. Like if you mess up, you can just make a joke out of it and be like, yeah, well, I just stumbled all over my words there and we're going back to the next thing. And so yeah, the research that I think with that, with planning videos is you want to know what video you're going to plan and then watch other YouTubers, see what other YouTubers are doing, especially real estate. That's like the goal. Look at a Jeremy Knight, look at a Ken Posick, look at how they structure their videos and then base it off of them. And you can also just take whole video ideas from other people, right? They're not in your market. Just go to someone else's market, look up. There's tons of people that do it in Tampa, Orlando, Austin, Texas. You have plenty of competition in Austin, Texas, but everyone has different videos that separate them. And then your ideal client gravitates towards you, which is fantastic.
So
I don't know
I
if
want
that
to get
answered
into
the question.
the content piece here in a second, but let's look at your channel here real quick. So a lot of your content looks like you're talking about neighborhoods, this versus that, island and city living, new construction.
Yeah. So I think the one thing that I've done is, and that's part of like the slide deck too, is just like, hey, make a plan and have buckets of content, right? And that's something that I've learned from you, Jeremy, of what you do up there, and also just going to like all the real estate video blueprint, all those kind of things. And my buckets of content are essentially I do some podcasts, and those are like long form interviews, and those I highly recommend doing. If you can get an interview with, like, I got an interview with the local sheriff, I got an interview with the property appraiser, I got an interview like best builder in Florida. That's literally the best builder in Florida. He got rated that, and I'm able to say that because he was rated the best builder in Florida for like the past 5 years. And those connections just led me to other connections, which were really amazing. So that's one small part of it. We do new construction tours, and then we do our standard like talking head tours, or talking head videos, which are essentially just informational videos, pros and cons, costs of living, top 10 employers in the area. This one I think is a great video to do for everyone, right? You're not saying these are the best communities. You're saying these are this is where I put like my clients chose, right? My clients chose these top 5 communities, and it's just you talking about your people and what they've done, right? So you're not saying, hey, this is the number 1 community, this is the worst community. You're saying this is where my clients went to. So it's not you being the source, it's your clients are the source of that. So this one's actually crushing for me right now. So that's a great video. I think
So
so, at least.
let's talk about your content buckets. I mean, you sent me a slide deck here, which is great. I think we're still sharing. So you sent me a slide deck here. Do you want to go over this, or do you want to go over this, or do you want to ask questions? You tell me, and
Yeah.
we can go through all of this. What I love about this, what we do on this channel is it's more free form. If you have questions and you have somebody that's doing something at a high level, I want to be able to talk about those questions. But what I love about this, everybody thinks that one of the questions, do you have paid? These are all, you can tell these are all organic views. Only like 3, and I say only not in a disparaging way, only 363 views, 329 views. 273 views, and you're closing what, over 25 million a year just from these videos?
Well, not 25 million, probably maybe this year, but last year we did like 12.5 million. So
Yeah,
this year I
and
think we're gonna hit that.
look how good the quality on this video is. What are you shooting on?
So that's a DJI Osmo. You can buy the creator package to get that. So it's really easy to use. I definitely recommend getting that. Have someone hold it. And honestly, a lot of the edits and like the biggest thing is just like if you're going to edit yourself, I think it is important for everyone to try to edit the video themselves. But I tell you, just don't do it and just give it to someone else because you're not a video editor, you're a realtor. I tried editing my videos and like, oh, people won't see what I want to do and they won't know when to make the cuts and all that. No, they know what to do. They do it all the time. Send it to a video editor. It's going to be 10 times better, right? If you look at my first video, it's still on there. It's absolutely terrible. It's not great at all. My tone and my pace and everything is just very boring. It sucks. But yeah, just get a good camera, get a good and DJI sells I think it's the DJI creator combo with the Osmo. So it gives you a mic, hooks right up to the DJI, has a gimbal in it. You can flip it horizontal, you can flip it vertical for short form videos. Definitely a great little setup.
Okay. So that's good to know because I've shot on some pretty heavy duty equipment and it doesn't even look as good as what you're doing here.
Yeah, it's 4K. So
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay. So one of the questions we had in the comments here was, and I don't know if this is aimed at you. Number one, how many videos a week are you putting out?
yeah, so I would recommend. I'm putting out 2 videos a week essentially, and one of those is one of my buckets of content, which is a live stream, and then one of those is an edited video like the one we just saw. So that is essentially my schedule, and I recommend if you are going to put out one video a week, make sure you get ahead of yourself so that you're not rushing because this is what I did initially is I rushed. Oh, I need to get this video edited. I need to shoot this right now so I can get it on time for the next week. You want to try and batch everything so that you can get at least 2 or 3 videos ahead so you're not having to rush through everything. But yeah, one a week is what I would say is the way to start. You can do more. I know people that do 2 a week. There's people that go live every day. I just don't think I'm that interesting or I have that much to say. So my live streams that covers. So we go over the market data, and then we go over the news, and then we do a Q&A. So the market data is just me looking at the MLS, going over the past week, and then also I try to add on some other market stats with that. The news, I just cover the major news stories that happened that past week within northeastern Florida. And I also cover typically, we're talking about being like, knowing what you're talking about. I'll cover a national news story, then I'll go to my state, and then I'll go to my local area. So I try to get one from the national, one from the state, and then the rest will be the local area for those live streams. So 2 a week is what I do right now. And the live stream is very easy to do. I'd recommend everyone doing that. Very easy to do.
And that's not super hard. And that's like for the live streams that we do, it's a lot of just more newsy stuff, right? Like what's happening. And the live streams are great because you can really organically talk to your database. All right. So as far as the content buckets, what content? Let me ask one question first. Organic versus paid. Are you doing 100% organic when you're putting these out?
Yeah, so all of my video, all the leads and business I've gotten from YouTube is straight up organic. It's straight up from people getting suggested my videos or searching for them, which is, I think there's 2 ways to do it, honestly. I know of people that do paid YouTube ads and they do business from them. I just haven't gone down that route yet. Everything on that channel is organic. What I've heard, and Jeremy, you could probably corroborate with me on this is like if you're gonna do paid YouTube, you want to make a separate like duplicate channel because your organic reach will get messed up from paying for YouTube to push it out to everyone. And I think that's something that you all need to do is research the YouTube algorithm. Think about how it works for you and what you get suggested on YouTube, right? There is a very sophisticated algorithm behind that that makes it puts in front of you videos that you want to watch, right? And how does it do that? So I definitely recommend researching that, because if you're on YouTube and you get a video and you're like, oh, this is exactly what I want to watch. Well, like if that's about YouTube and real estate, and you're looking to move to St. Augustine, or you're looking to move to any other area, Fairfax, Virginia, right? And you search best communities in Fairfax, Virginia, and then this video pops up, and then it gives you all the information that you need. You're like, well, I may as well call this person.
I'm reading your slides here to see if there's a question I have off your slides. All right, I think that's pretty smart.
The slides are just for the basic. Hey,
Okay.
you want to get started on YouTube? This is what it is. If it, essentially make great videos, do it consistently, and yeah, that's it. It's really
Okay.
it.
So what about content, right? We talked about your content buckets a second ago. What content do you think gets the most engagement, which turns into the most buyers or sellers in your pool?
So I think when you're starting out, I really think you need to focus on search, like search engine optimization, right? So like what questions are being asked about your specific area that you can answer in a video format, right? And formulate your titles and everything around that. I think once you get a certain base of people, when YouTube finds your algorithm of people, you can kind of flex a little bit differently. But when you initially start, I think you need to like stick with pros and cons of living in St. Augustine. Cons, and negatives do really well. The worst things about living in St. Augustine, cost of living in St. Augustine, the best employers in St. Augustine, all those basic questions that you want to have answered if you're looking to move somewhere, right? And then break that down, like, okay, like buying a house in St. Augustine, like what does that look like? So we bought a house last year, and we vlogged the whole thing. So we did a 3-part series of buying a house, and we broke it down into 3 different sections. Like, this is the whole process from beginning to end, and I'll walk you through exactly what I did. So that's a great piece of content, especially if you're investing, right? And like you're flipping houses. I mean, that's another piece that we've even thought about going down that route, is like creating our own little HGTV situation. So I think then these are all easy videos. These are videos you can shoot right in your office. You don't have to be out and about. The neighborhood tours take time. That takes time and money, right, to go out there and shoot those videos. But you don't need to do that. You can do everything right in your office. You don't need all this cool stuff, though. I think this looks like I'm a little therapist of real estate. But you don't need it. You can just get a shoot your background with like your window in the back. That's it. You don't need anything crazy.
Yeah, we shot a podcast in that little room right there, and it was fun, man. I like the setup. What
Yeah, a little
about
pot.
so I always get this question, and I'm glad, Doug. Everybody, keep your questions coming in the comments here, because I think it's really important. Whatever questions you do have to ask, and maybe something we said will spark conversation or thought on something else. But this is 2 quick questions that he has here. Number again, one, what was the camera again that you said it was a DJI Go,
Let me see if I can find it. DJ Osmo,
the creator package?
yeah, creator combo. Yeah, let me
And
see. I'll find it.
creator combo just means it comes with like a mic and things like that. So it comes with
Yep.
everything kind of you need to vlog. The next question while you're doing that, do you use TubeBuddy or any other SEO tools? Everyone's told SEO is so important. You just said that, you got to know the SEO. Do you use any of those tools to actually help you with the SEO?
Uh, yes and no. Uh, once you get, once you, I know we've had these conversations about TubeBuddy. Once you reach a certain point, you kind of know what you need to input in terms of like the tags and everything. From how YouTube's working, the tags mean less and less and less every day. Um, But in terms of, I use TubeBuddy. I use it sparingly for the most part. I use it more for suggestions based on like keywords that need to be put in the tags. But I don't use it for like figuring out my titles or anything like that anymore. It can be a great help to start you off. But if you look at any of my titles now, I mean, they're not really SEO focused. They're more or less what you would see on most YouTube channels, which is a title that tells you what the video is about, and then the thumbnail correlates with that title to make you click on that thumbnail and go watch that video, right? So um, TubeBuddy is important to a point, I would say. I think especially if you're just starting, get it, pay the money for it, and let it help you along. But then once you reach a certain point, you're not going to need it. And I did just put the DJI Osmo Creator Pack in the chat, so go
Perfect.
ahead and buy that there. I think it's like, I mean, it's expensive. It's like 700 bucks. You don't need that though. I think that's also an important thing is like, just use your phone. Like use your phone. This has a great camera on it. Get a mic and, I'd invest in a good mic. I don't even have it on right now. I'm using the camera's mic, but I have like a Rode Go that you can hook up, and that's a really good mic. It might cost you, yeah, exactly. Might cost you like I think 250 for that mic, but if you're seriously planning on doing this, then you need to have good audio because if you can watch a video and it's like kind of grainy and you're like, okay, that's not great, but if the audio sucks, you're cutting it off pretty quick.
Yeah, so I use the Rode Go as well. I bought the 2, which is the next version, so it's 2 channels. I have to be honest, the Rode Go 1 is, I think, superior quality. Personally, that's what I think. A lot of people like that you in your video you had the DJI one as well. That's a good one as well. Um,
Yeah, that comes with the creator combo. So
yeah.
it's like you get that, you get everything in one shot, and it's a gimbal too. Like, and that's the biggest thing is if you're just filming like this and you're walking around on, you're trying to do B-roll because you have to do your footage, right? This is going to be shaky and like it's not going to look great. Now, can you get away with it? Yeah, if you have steady hands, but invest in the gimbal if you're going to use your phone. Have that done, and then buy audio. That's like the cheapest way to get in there.
What do you think is the number one video? I want to go back to content.
Yeah.
What do you think is the number one video that has driven business to you, or the video that people, maybe it's a topic that people say to you the most? Like when you're in conversation about, because when I have conversations with clients, they're like, oh, I like this video that you did. You did this video 2 years ago that was about this. What is that one video, do you think, that if somebody's going to kind of create new content, what is that one video that's probably been the most successful for you? Not
That's a
successful in views, but successful in
yeah.
business.
That's a honestly a really really tough one to answer because it's not just one video, right? I think it's a culmination of all your videos that you put together that shows that you know what you're talking about and that allow people to get to know you. And I think just to kind of flip it, I think my video that would be best for that is I have a video that's it's like the title is like the locals don't even know this, and it gets the locals involved because they get pissed, like just because they're like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, so that, and which is negative engagement is good engagement on YouTube, so it's not a big deal. But then also it gets people intrigued that like, okay, what is this? So someone that maybe has not interacted with your channel yet, they watch this video and they get suggested other videos that they might like based off of what YouTube's recommending them. So I think it's either like only the locals know this, or it's like top 5 worst things about living in St. Augustine. And I think that's the biggest thing. And so, all right, so probably the top 5 worst because people say like, hey, I like how you tell it how it is. Like you're not saying like, oh yeah, it's all fairies and rainbows here in St. Augustine. It's the best place to ever live. Like you're telling the real shit that people want to hear. And that's what I think my people love. At least they like the transparency of it. They don't like where I'm just like, yeah, this is the best place ever. Nothing ever goes wrong here. You should move here and use here and use. I don't put videos out like that.
Yeah, I like that, man. It's tough because the reason why I started the channel is I got annoyed with people asking me the same questions over and over again. So I wanted like to create content that if people ask me a question, I'm like, oh, amazing, I have a video for that, right? Just like when people ask you about specific neighborhoods, oh, I have a video for that.
Yep.
And then it turned to, uh, I'm tired of people selling Austin. Here's why you shouldn't move to Austin, right? And so that's kind of how mine went. What about moving over to live streams? When you're doing live stream videos, we have on my channel Real Migos. In fact, you've been on Real Migos. We
Yeah.
try to do that once a week on Wednesdays. and it's usually about an hour. We'll bring on a guest, we'll talk about whatever. How do you go about promoting your live streams?
So I pretty much only do it through social media. There's no paid. Well, there no there's no paid advertising for the social media. What I'm going to start doing is because a lot of the people that are in my database are from YouTube. Is I'm going to start sending an email out to them probably 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before, be like, hey, make sure you catch us live. So I incorporate that with a weekly newsletter. So like I go live on Wednesday, then on Friday I essentially tag the video in there, and then I put the 5 news stories, however many news stories I do as hyperlinks, which get engagement. And through the CRM, I can see like, okay, hey, uh, Christian Matamoros clicked this video specific or this link specifically, which took him to the new laws that passed in Florida, right? So like just knowing that little data piece gives me a talking point with Christian. I say, oh, Christian, hey, I saw you clicked on my video the other day and you watched that. You went and read the link. What do you think about that? But yeah, so I only promote it through social media. I do. I'm going to add that email to about 5 minutes before. So on Instagram, I'll post like a reel or a store, a post or a reel about it. Just varies, depends. And then yeah, just go live every Wednesday, and you really don't need to promote it, right? I don't know if local people will find it as valuable as people moving to your area. But even the people that have moved here, they're like, hey, we still watch it every Wednesday at 8 p.m. We love it because it's just like, it's no fluff. It's no bullshit like the news. It's just like what you think and what you think on the news. And they enjoy it. Yeah. So I have like repeat listeners every single Wednesday, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I like I like that model. That's what's worked for us. And as far as promoting it, if you schedule it out, like we usually schedule them out like on Monday. And so Monday, like I put the thumbnail out, all of that through StreamYard, and StreamYard automatically puts that on YouTube, and YouTube will kind of promote the video. So in fact, when I do the hot sheet for them as well, that's basically what they do. They create the thumbnail the day before, they post it, and so it gives 24 hours of it having a little bit of legs. Do you use any sort of free guide or giveaway to grow your email database for YouTube?
So I don't as of now. I probably will start implementing that, which just to gather information, right? And just to have a free giveaway. Um, what I have been doing is, and this is something separate from YouTube altogether, but all the social media can work together, I think, is I actually purchased a Facebook page, right? Now, the Facebook page was something that it was dead for years, hadn't been active since 2018. So I actually just, messaged the guy, said, hey, I see you're the admin of this page. I'm looking to buy it and create it into this. So then he sold it to me. And it has about 6,000 people within the group already. So I already bought an existing page with a ton of people on it. So now what I did is I said, hey, if you're watching this, you can go ahead and join my Facebook page. It's www.com, facebook.com/living in St. Augustine, has the same logo as that. And you can interact with the community. You can also see some of the questions and answers that other locals are posting and what they're saying. So I'm still pushing that to get more interaction from the locals in the area. But I think it's just the one thing with YouTube is we're asking people to, hey, reach out to me directly. We'll work together right now. Just call me right now. Whereas like you're giving them another breadcrumb to come to you, right? Like, hey, go check out this resource as well. It's not just me saying what's going on here in St. Augustine. It's other people that live here. And of course, you're going to find, on Facebook, that's like, can be very terrible, right? People only go to Facebook to like complain, it seems. But I say like take that with a grain of salt. All the good information is still in there. So kind of using YouTube to promote my Facebook, and then Facebook to promote my YouTube, and then back and forth. I don't link the two though. It's pretty much I only link from YouTube to Facebook. I don't link from Facebook to YouTube, and that's on purpose.
Yeah, and we can go down the Facebook rabbit hole later. One thing you can do is do like a free guide, right? So just go to ChatGPT, sign up for my free What You Must Know guide. Go to ChatGPT and like build out something like that. There's different call to actions you can do in the description. One thing that I started doing was in the description, Here's the phone number to call us. Text hot or text home to get to start your home journey. I got a listing appointment set a day ago from putting that in the description. You can even flash it across the screen, text, home to get started. And so I literally had a listing appointment last night, 7 p.m. From that. So always so you can have different call to actions. How are you getting people to reach out to you from YouTube? Is it the description? Are you saying call text? Like what are you doing to get, like, what's your call to action to get people to reach out to you?
Yeah, so I
And what's the
always try to
process?
throw yeah, I always try to throw like one call to action in the video at the beginning, and I kind of have like a little spiel like, hey, if you are looking to buy, sell, or invest here in Northeastern Florida, make sure you reach out to me and my team directly. We try to all our whole purpose here is to give you the information so that you can make an educated decision. That's it, right? And that's keep it short and sweet. You don't want to drag it on. But then I do also put a Calendly link in the comments, and I'll mention like if you want to schedule an appointment, there's a Calendly link in the comments. You can schedule whenever you'd like, and then I think I also have my VA go back. I don't do this, but I have my VA go back and then put in the comments like, hey, this is my contact information, just so it's ready and available for everyone to reach out. So you can be more aggressive with it, right? Like you can say like, hey, I have this free buyer guide. You can go and download it, and then you'll get their contact information. Um, and I've thought about implementing that, but things have just been working out pretty well where I get people that reach out to me when they're ready, right? So if they're not ready, then I don't, just be honest, I don't want to talk to you. Like that's just I don't want to. I want to work with people that are looking to do something right now. So
Yeah, and that's the thing we don't want to do is put up roadblocks where people can't reach out to you. In fact, one of the people I recently talked to was like, "Hey, I didn't know if you're just such a big celebrity that you couldn't take conversations or calls, so it was a shot in the dark." So I think that's one thing to remind people too in the videos, like, "Hey, um, in fact, one of the people yesterday was like, yeah, your team, your team. And I realized, oh, I'm talking about my team more on the video. So that's helping people and it reminded me to talk about my team more, because the reality is when leads come through, a lot of times, we'll vet the lead to see what they're looking for. And sometimes with our people in Austin, we'll refer it out to agents in Austin if it's an area that we don't want to be in. And usually it's agents in our downline at Real. So that's a process that we do use, but getting better about saying like, hey, I have a team. Like, hey, by the way, when you reach out, you're going to talk to X on our team or something like that. Put that out there few more times. That way people get used to that. That way it doesn't bog down your system. I'm in the process of making sure to do that because all my content is shot just me, because it's so much easier for me just to run out and go shoot what I need to shoot versus like, hey, Eileen, go get your hair done, go put go find your business attire, get out of your pajamas from behind the thing and come shoot with me. And it takes her
yeah,
2 hours where I've already shot the content in that 2 hours, right? I'm sure you run into the same thing. You're a husband and wife team. So,
yeah, for sure. And
um,
and I've included Maya on my channel. We do so she's kind of taking the reins on a Spanish channel here in northeastern Florida. So she's doing that, and that's kind of like so. Every time we're going out videoing now, like we'll go film a neighborhood, and then she'll just do exactly what I say, pretty much in Spanish. So it's just rinse and
nice.
repeating that. But people, because she is advertised on my channel and everything, people are like, "Hey, we've had calls like, hey, we're open to working with you or Maya, whichever one. We just want to do this."
Yeah.
So the reason I started adding like, hey, reach out to me and my team. Like it's me and my wife, a transaction coordinator, and my VA. Like that's our team, right? It's not like you're working with a whole bunch of different people, but those videos are going to be there for years to come, and I will have a team eventually, right? And that's something that I'm looking into doing this year. So I don't want people to think like I'm only working with you, like, and that's kind of my idea with that. I don't know if you have any feedback on that, but
No, I think that's
there's
smart
some
because that's
people.
something I run into. Sonia's on the call here as well. So Sonia can attest, like, well, there's times like the handoff is not as good or hasn't been as good. And it's because a couple of things, like when leads come in and I actually talk to them and I'm trying to vet them and then hand them off. Did I say that I was going to work with them from the beginning? What was my script? And I think that's something when you're vetting any lead from any lead source, you have to have the right scripts in place in order to make sure that you direct them in the right direction. They still want to work with you and build that trust. Everybody seems like they have to run. It's 3 minutes. So we'll cut it short here about 10:45, but what are your, if I'm brand new in real estate right now and I'm like, Thomas, I want to build a YouTube channel. What are the first steps? What do I need to do? What would you tell somebody?
Yeah. So the first thing I would do is just like research the YouTube algorithm. Just watch YouTube algorithm videos on YouTube. Like you're gonna find so much information there. Research other realtors and what they're doing and the content they're putting out. Make a plan for yourself and who you're talking to. Who's your ideal client that you want to talk to? For me, it's people relocating here to St. Augustine, and if I'm niching down even more, it's people that are retired and have cash, right? Like that's ideally who everyone wants to work with, right? Because they're very easy. They've done it once before. So you want to make sure you have a plan for that, right? Like who's your client? Who are you speaking to every week? How often are you going to be putting out videos? And then what equipment do you need? You know, get your phone, get a gimbal, get the DJI Creator combo, and just learn it and make sure you know what you're doing. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Like get your schedule down, know what you're going to post, make as good of videos as you can, because at the end of the day with YouTube, they want they want to keep people on their platform. If you make a great video that keeps people on their platform, YouTube will push that in front of other people, right? And then that also goes into thumbnails. Like if you don't want to learn about how to make good thumbnails on Canva, then outsource it. Go to Upwork, go to Fiverr, get someone on there to make you a thumbnail for what you need, right? And then that'll help people click on your video and help you get pushed out more. So I think it's like the basics of what it is. You know, I wouldn't say there's anything. You know, there's obviously rabbit holes we can go down for each one of those things, but make great videos, be consistent about it, and yeah, you should do all right. Also, I think knowing what your market is, right? Like I live in Florida, it's a relocation market. People move here like because they're retiring, right? Because they want a different lifestyle. What is your market? You know, why do people move to your area and cater to that person?
I could just imagine you starting off a video like, "Are you retired and have cash? I'm the realtor for you." Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Well, and that's like that's a piece of like a bucket of content that I do, right? It's like, hey, these are all the 55 plus communities in St. Johns County.
Yeah.
Like, and someone that's looking for that exclusively, then I give them everything they need in this little package. How could they be upset?
You know what better deals you get when you have cash?
Yeah, seriously. Well, with new construction, they're not even like they don't even care. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh, we'll take loans, but they give like no
Yeah.
discount on cash. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But
Well,
either way,
yeah, we'll actually give you a better discount for using our lender, is what they'll say.
yeah, 100
What are
percent.
last questions do people have? We're going to bounce out of here in about a minute. So drop your last questions and we'll get to this. If you found value in this as well, drop a one in the chat as well. And let's give Thomas some love for taking time to jump in and talk about this. My last question for you is this. What does consistency actually mean?
I mean that's individual, right? Like for me, it's posting a video every single week. It's doing a live stream every single week, right? So what is your schedule? What's your plan for that, right? Are you trying to get out one video a month? You know, well then do one video a month. But it's gonna take longer to get pushed up into the algorithm. So I would say like just being consistent is just doing that, just doing exactly what you say you're gonna do, right? Put your plan together, and I recommend, and I'm sure Jeremy would recommend, just doing a video a week, right? And it is daunting at first, but once you get used to it and you understand, like you make a process of it, it's not so bad. But at least a video a week, a live stream a week, and yeah, that's pretty much what it means. Just make your plan and stick to it.